starting a new topic. Okay, we're going to talk about the source of the 5 edicts of Chazal. Or basically, we'll talk about the 5 edicts of Chazal. Restrictions, okay, decrees, if you can call it. And I just want to wrap it up with what we've talked last time. We talked about the kashrut, how to kosherize utensils and dishes. We left off talking about Teflon. So I don't want to really read the whole halachot in regards to Teflon. I'm just going to say that some Teflon's items can be kosherized. Just ask the rabbi, ask the expert from the VAD, and you need to discuss what type of Teflon dish or what was the last use they use it for. Okay, that's in general. No one sponsored this class, so on behalf of Yisrael Foundation, I would love to start and to greet the Mucklestone family. It's a great Mazal Tov. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. And today was a very beautiful and interesting day for everybody. And I want to greet you, Be'ezrat Hashem, that you will build. This is your responsibility now, to build a new Jewish family. Your kids will not know anything else. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, we wish you to grow spiritually and Be'ezrat Hashem create a beautiful new Jewish strong family in Israel, wherever you live. Be'ezrat Hashem, with Mashiach comes, hopefully before, in Eretz Yisrael. Amen. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו.
I was going to say to you too, but I don't know if you want any more children.
You know, students are my children.
No, there you go.
So do you have any idea what's the 5 edicts of Chazal? You know what Chazal means? The title says Chazal. Do you ever hear the word Chazal? Okay, Chazal is the acronym. It's the abbreviation of 3 letters. Chet, Zayin, Lamed. You will hear this word a lot. Chazal saying, or Chazal saying. This is from Chazal. Chazal is the title. It's a general word for Chachamenu, Zichronam, Livracha, our sages that passed away. Okay, may their memory be blessed. So instead of saying our sages, may their memory be blessed, every time we say Chazal. Chazal, it's the acronym. In Hebrew, it's 3 words. Chachamenu, Zichronam, the memory. Livracha will be blessed. Chazal. Okay, so you're familiar with the word Chazal? Say Chazal. Chazal. Okay. It's start with Chet, Zayin, and Lamed. So this is also the title of today. The way we can pronounce Chazal in English is Chazal. Okay, so it sounds the way it sounds. Chazal. Chazal is our sages. May their memory be blessed. Okay. So Chazal discuss 5 edicts. You know what 5 edicts means? Like kind of like a decision, edicts. 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 Sorry, edicts. 5 edicts about very important concept. Most of you, maybe even all of you, heard about them before. For example, yayin nesech, about wine, about chalav Yisrael, pat Israel. Pat means bread of Israel, chalav of Israel. What does that mean? I know, but what's the meaning behind it? Why would people prefer? I have 2 kinds of meaning. Both came from a cow.
Chalav Israel is like it was observed by it.
Right. So we need to know what's the concept. Very good. So we need to understand what's then behind it. Where is this concept derived from? Okay, let's start with that source. So it says in the Torah, I'm going to read the Hebrew. ולא תתחתן בם, בתך לא תיתן לבנו, וביתו לא תיקח לבנך, כי יסיר את בנך מאחריי, ועבדו אלוהים אחרים, וחרף אדוני בכם, וישמידך מהר. Judah, can you check the air conditioning, please?
I tried to find it.
It's here, maybe press on it for 10 seconds. Something. וקרא לך ואכלת מזבחו, ולקחת מבנותיו לבניך, וזנו בנותיו אחריהן אלוהיהן, ויזנו את בניך אחרי אלוהיהן. The Torah states, it's a quote from Devarim, Deuteronomy 7. The quote is as follows: Do not marry with them, do not give your daughter to his son, and do not take his daughter for your son. He will turn your son away from me, and they will serve idols. And then Hashem's anger will rage against you and destroy you quickly. Okay? It's well understood. The Kadosh Baruch Hu wants a Jew to marry with a Jew, keeping the tradition, the faith, observing the Torah,
Lineage.
and all that. How is that related in any ways to milk, wine, honey, maybe even? How is that related to that? Don't marry, understand? Yeah? Makes sense. Every culture likes their own. Right? He will invite you. Who will invite you? The Gentile. He will invite you, and you will eat his food, and you will take off his daughter for your sons. Then his daughters will stray after their gods, and they will make your sons convert to their gods. This is from Shemot. What's Shemot? Ma? Exodus 34, 15, and 16. You can look it up later to read more about it with all the commentary. Thank you. It's working. Yeah, I guess you pressed it on.
He did it.
Alright, there we go. Just pressed on the little.
You just need something to press 10 seconds. Okay.
10 seconds.
So you would say, I don't understand. He will invite me to smoke together and have a coffee, or to eat ice cream together, and all of a sudden I'll take his daughter to my son, I give my son to his, what's up with that? This is a direct order, commandment from Hashem.
Yeah.
So we need to understand what is really going on. So since we know very well that eating and drinking together makes people feel close to each other, every simple business transaction, a business meeting, start first with food, with eating, drinking, l'chaim. We feel the closeness, we become friends. That can bring a lot of problems if you don't know to put, So I think the idea of getting close to each other by eating and drinking is well understood. It breaks a lot of boundaries, especially with wine. When you are a little bit lightheaded, right? So we know that eating and drinking together, especially alcohol, removes barriers. And it's not, again, be surprised, it's not limited to wine. It's actually every alcoholic beverage. There's a special provision in regards to wine, because wine considered among all beverages the most significant one,
Right.
most common one. We're using it in very special occasions. He even got his own bracha, his own blessings. All beverages in the world, you would say bracha. What is it? But wine? Agafen. Chazal saw the need to make a number of edicts against eating together with Gentiles in order to keep us far from them, so that we will not intermarry. There are 4 such edicts as follows. 1, not to eat their bread. 2, not to eat their cooking. 3, not to eat their oil and honey. 4, not to drink their non-sacramental wine, whereas wine used for idolatrous purposes is forbidden from the Torah, we know that. As well, there are 2 more edicts instituted for reasons other than intermarriage. Number 5, not to drink their milk, even if it is milked from a kosher animal. And 6, not to eat their cheese. So you see, we said 5 and now there are 6. As Hashem, we're going to explain each and every one of them. Any questions? Okay. I'm going to raise a question. Probably you're curious. Is this halacha true also for non-idolaters? For example, no chayv.
Yes,
You say yes?
I would.
Okay.
Because
So it's not my job or my responsibility to investigate right now his beliefs. If he goes to church, doesn't go to church, what is he doing in his hidden room in the house?
they're Jewish. or
Keep
not?
it simple. Jewish, not Jewish.
Yeah,
Okay? No offense.
I think.
Right. I agree with you.
Okay, cool.
The third edict, the third edict that forbidding Gentile oil and honey was never accepted by the majority of Jews and was rescinded, cancelled, rescinded,
Rescinded, yes.
rescinded, what is it, cancelled, no?
Canceled.
Rescinded shortly after it was instituted by Rabbi's rabbinical court. Thus, we are left today with 5 edicts of Chazal against eating and drinking Gentile food and milk. So today, basically, side comment, if you go to a store, you can buy, without even kosher supervision on a mark, some product that we know that they're 100%.
Yeah.
For example, honey or olive oil, as long as we know that it's not mixed from places that they don't mix and yet write 100%.
Right.
Okay, it's something you have to be very careful because even here in America, you go to a store, you see 100% olive oil, but it's actually mixed. You see the different. You see the small letters. We discussed that the other day. They emphasize on the label that it's 100%, which is true. It's 100%
Olive oil.
They
pressed
mix it.
olive oil. I mean, the amount that they add, maybe 10% or 20%, it's 100%.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the small letters. One first thing to suspect is the price. We see it's too cheap, it's probably mixed. Check it out. Okay? Chazal had various consideration in choosing their edicts. The background for the prohibition against Gentile non-sacramental wine began with the sin of Baal Peor. You're all familiar with Baal Peor in the book of Bamidbar, Numbers. Almost toward the very end, the story when they worshipped these idols were seduced by the daughters of the women of Midian. It started with a small, let's say, have a small booth of testing wine. Let's do the chaim, just the wine. Lightheaded, committing a sin. Grave sin. 24,000 people died. Okay, in the Torah portion, Balak. There, Bnei Yisrael drank non-sacramental wine given them by Benot Midian, the daughters of Midian, were led as a result to intermarriage. They're using here a very delicate word. And finally were driven by them to sin with Baal Peor. Everybody familiar with Baal Peor? What kind of avodah zarah was it?
Yes, disgusting.
Disgusting. When actually people are pooping. Number one and number two, the more the better. I can't even imagine today how you can worship your feces. The chulant, from Shabbat, down the toilet. You open the sewage and you worship the sewage.
I missed that part, Sean.
They have a special place that they did. The idea behind it is that there is no boundaries. You can do whatever you want, whatever, and this is the highest level of avodah zarah. People are very excited to do that. You can see the Yetzer Hara inclination is so clever, so sophisticated that it can turn something can be so gross, so ugly, stinky. Every person in the world cannot stand this, right? But yet people turn it to be, they elevate it to be like the most high level avodah, worshipping of their God, whatever. So the Israelite failed. It all starts with a small cup of wine, l'chaim. The prohibition against Gentile bread and cooking were instituted for two reasons. First, there was the fear of intermarriage, which can result from the closeness of heart and mind that comes from eating with Gentiles. Second, there was the concern that a Gentile baker or cook might purposely include some forbidden food into his baking or cooking to make Jews sin. Okay. By the way, even in kosher restaurants, you have to have a very strong supervision. It turns out that chefs, people that that want to give name to themselves, or they feel that they are well known, they would like very much sometimes to add ingredients to make, according to what they think, they believe, to make the food better. So people, tastier people will give them stars, give them the thumbs up, and so I heard more than once that they added to a food a non-kosher ingredients as soon as the mashgiach, the supervisor, turned his back. Rabbi Klein himself told me about someone that they don't give him kashrut, kosher, even today, till today, even if we ask for it, he will never get. Because he told me himself, as soon as he turned his back, he add that ingredient. So Rabbi Klein eventually found out that that's what he did. And this is why I have to be very careful. Okay? There's tons of stories like that. People like to add, for example, for a chulant, it was a story with a very frum family that they hire a maid that she also cooked for them. It's something that, it's well, you can take a chair from here. There's extra chairs here. I think they live in, in Mexico. I think they live in Mexico. And they hire a maid, okay? And she is taking care of children, everything, almost everything. So they have guests once, and this guy says, your children is amazing. And you got to give me the ingredients. So he says, the maid after Shabbat. So he talked with her after Shabbat, and it turns out that she's adding butter.
I was about to say butter.
She's adding butter.
Butter makes everything.
And butter, they didn't even know.
Real butter.
From day one, they eat it, so they could not tell the difference.
Yeah.
And she thought it's okay.
It's much better.
Right? Maybe they show her One time you can add oil or margarine. So she thought it's from the same family. What's wrong with that? For years, they were eating non-kosher children every Shabbat.
Wow.
So I have to be careful about it.
How do you do that? What happens?
Okay. Rav Pe'alim is the author is the Ben Ish Chai. I don't know if you heard about Ben Ish Chai, who writes that there is no distinction between Christians and Muslims in these regards, since intermarriage is equally forbidden with both. Some would say, it's a little bit different, maybe different with Muslims, because at the end of the day, they believe in one God.
That's what they say.
Sometimes you can daven in a mosque, or you can enter a mosque, you cannot enter a church, and things like that. So intermarriage is equal. A Jew can only marry a Jew. If you want to see a Jew marry a Jew, you may come tomorrow, Sharet Tefillah, 4:30, right? Ma?
Seven.
So,
Ma 7.
no,
There's 7 dancing?
marriage.
7 dancing. 7 dancing. Okay. Yes.
Rabbi, when the people say the Muslim, they believe in the only one God. Doesn't mean this is the true,
What's the door?
the true
You-
God.
Which God are they worshiping?
Because
They don't believe in the God of the Bible, the God of the Tanakh, the God of
Yeah.
Israel.
They
Abraham,
believe
Isaac, and Jacob.
he's
Right.
all
If they
God.
believe in that God, they would never kill a Jew.
Right.
Right? They believe in their own
So
God.
who do they say they?
So
well,
I was
probably-
thinking about it today,
Yeah.
when our candidate, Macosto, went through I don't know why it pops to my mind, went through, the mikveh, handling the kids and the blood and all that. So we're thinking, listen, these guys went through long journey, Torah learning and commitment and every Shabbat and the holidays. And when they came, they were already, it's not really new to them. They already came with the background, so they knew. And I mean, it's a long journey. And then, even that, it's not guaranteed that you will pass, right? For Muslims, what do you need to do?
It's the prayer.
You just say the prayers, the words. You believe in Muhammad. You got to say 3 times. La ilaha illallah.
Sound like a Christian?
Muhammad Rasulallah. Okay, there is no God by God, and his messenger is Muhammad. If you said that 3 times, boom, finish. And I'm thinking to myself, as a Jew, I have to make everything complicated. So I said it 3 times. What if a day later I forgot? What if I was drunk, but it was under the influence of drugs? Am I still Muslim? It's so easy.
For drinking.
Huh?
So you can't drink.
You can't be drinking.
No, I was drinking maybe before. They came to me when I was drunk.
Yeah.
And I said, La ilaha illallah. I don't remember that. And then they say, yeah, you're a Muslim. They show me a video. I didn't mean it. No, but you said it. You said it because the mitzvah is to say. What about intention? Forget about intention. I don't know. There's no comparison in any other religion. I don't know how it works in Christianity. I guess you just need to be baptized. Huh? You go for a quick swim and finish, right?
You don't
I know.
do that.
You don't have
No,
to.
need that. Can you do it on Zoom?
Yeah. You could do it alone.
You can
Hmm?
do it
alone by yourself.
Alone by yourself. Wow.
on the TV.
I'm glad that you guys here with the Ohev Israel Foundation, because this is the real
Leo.
deal. Baruch Hashem. Okay. The prohibition against eating Gentile bread was not accepted universally by all Jews, and leniencies were included into it. As we will see, since as it is the basis of the diet, it was deemed unwise to restrict bread's consumption excessively, too much. Okay. Most authorities. So We'll see more halachot when we get there. Okay? Because in Jews that lived in Arab countries, many of them used to buy pita and bread from the non-Jews. Okay, bakery was open. It was simple ingredients. It was oil, olive oil. It was flour, salt, and water. That's it. We didn't make it complicated. Today, look at the ingredients of a bread.
Right.
You have like, I don't know, 12, 20, 24, 25
Preservatives.
different ingredients then.
Preservatives.
Preservative and so forth and so on. So today it's totally different. Okay, most authorities are of the opinion that the only significant reason for the edict, how you say that? Edict against eating Gentile cooking is the fear of intermarriage. It is only the minority that feels that one can consider the second reason, the fear of admixtures of unkosher products, parentheses, or the use of unkosher dishes on its own. The practical consequence of this distinction is that in a situation where there is no fear of intermarriage, such as cooking done in Gentile factories and sold for consumption at home, for example, canned food, like can. The second opinion permits consumption of the cooked foods, while the first opinion forbids it. Okay? I'm sure you have questions, but this is just the introduction, and we will deal with all these halachot Be'ezrat Hashem later. This distinction also comes to bear on the permissibility of eating food cooked by apostate. You know what apostate, right? Heretic, apostate? Apostate. Or avowedly, like declare it, avowedly. 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 Sabbath desecrating Jews. You see how they compare avowedly desecrating, avowedly Shabbat desecrating Jew to an apostate, or sometimes, many times, to a non-Jew. Avowedly means that someone that breaks Shabbat in front of 10 Jews. Okay? It's called Mechalel Shabbat Befarhesia, in public. Everybody can see him. There are authorities who hold that intermarriage with such a Jew daughter is permitted, and that therefore their cooking should be permitted also, provided one is sure that he has used only kosher ingredients. Other opinion says that intermarriage into his family is a concern, and that therefore his cooking and baking have the same status as Gentile cooking and baking.
So this is an apostate Jew, is that what?
Apostate Jew, someone that breaks the Shabbat in public.
Yeah, okay.
Some of them don't know. They don't know they know that you're not supposed to drive on Shabbat, for example. But they don't know the significance of Shabbat, so they take it lightly. They are secular. So as soon as you don't reject them, and you bring them close to Hashem, close to the shul, you teach them, and it happens here every day, people understand the significance of Shabbat and the prohibitions. They never learned Torah in their life. You see that they become more and more frum, less secular. They buy a house in the Eru, they live close to the shul, and one day they become Shabbat observant. Okay? So every case needs to be judged individually. Okay? The halacha is to be lenient and to eat the cooking and the baking of Shabbat desecrating or apostate Jews as long as the food itself is kosher, since we rule leniently in cases rabbinic prohibitions. Again, if you have such question on a particular case, ask the rabbi. could be an event that people gathering together, and you see someone that is actually an apostate, or let's say is a Messianic Jew, okay, and he's on the grill. He volunteered to be on the grill. Can I eat from his cooking? Okay. On the other hand, I know that the grill is kosher, and all the ingredients are kosher, so it might not be a problem, right? So it depends on the situation. Okay, continue. Any questions? We all good?
Just a question on a Messianic Jew, is that like a Jewish person that became Messianic, or, because every Jew is Messianic, bro. You look for the.
No, the Messianic can inform that he believes in the New Testament. He believes in Yeshua. We all believe in Mashiach.
Yeah.
Their Mashiach is, the one that we don't believe in.
There's no Christians.
They're Christians, Some says that the Christians are better in that case. At least the Christians are Christian. Another Jew that tell you that Christianity or their doctrines or their teachings is okay.
Really?
So you can be a Jew that can put talit. They're using all Jewish symbols like talit, Sefer Torah,
But they're not
the
Jewish.
tefillin. They would celebrate Passover. Today, there are movements that they're even rejecting a lot of Christianity's symbols, and they like focusing only or mainly on Torah or midrashim, and believing in Yeshua.
Right.
As soon as you bring
Yeshua?
Yeshua and any other person to the equation, you immediately become disqualified. Okay? We have just the Torah and the Torah only.
So in the
Anyone that will try to teach you differently or add or subtract from the Torah is teaching you false teachings.
So in your example, you said that it was lenient to say that's okay? Somebody's in there cooking?
Okay, it says some community are lenient. It depends. This is why I said it depends on the situation. So you won't have to throw so much food, throw away, because at the end of the day, the ingredients are kosher. Go to most of restaurants here, kosher restaurants, which they are approved. In the kitchen, who works in the kitchen? Not necessarily Jews.
Yeah.
So is that disqualify the food? No. You have a mashgiach, you have a supervisor, you have the vad, rabbis, they have cameras, making sure, And we also know that most of the restaurants owners, they are careful. They don't want to lose their business.
Okay.
They don't want to give bad name to themselves. Okay, so they want to have this kosher certificate. Okay. According to the Ravad, one may be lenient about Gentile cooking in a Jew's house, since there is no fear of intermarriage in such a case, and therefore products produced in Gentile factories such as noodles, potato chips, etc., are permitted as long as a mashgiach, a supervisor, lights the fire. Even Sephardim permit the use for such product according to the principle of safek sfeka, double doubt, which in this case is, we have two doubts. I don't know if you heard this word before, sfek sfeka, double doubts,
How do you pronounce it?
double doubt, safek
In Hebrew.
sfeka, safek sfeka. Safek, it's a doubt. Sfeka, it's another word. You have doubt, it means doubts. Double doubt. Today we're counting the Omer. So, for example, if someone forgot to count the Omer, so the halacha says you can continue without a beracha. Some says you can continue with a beracha because there is a double doubt. What is double doubt? Maybe you didn't forget. You're not sure. If you said, well, did I say the beracha? I said, that's number one. And the second is the Rambam holds that every day counts by itself. So every day has its own significance, and you can say bracha. So using these double doubts, you may continue with a blessing. For example, you will find this term more and more in your life when it comes to questions about the halacha. Safek, sfeka, double doubt, which in this case is one, perhaps lighting the fire as the Rama rules is sufficient to remove the prohibition against Gentiles cooking. Rama is the abbreviation of the name, like Rashi, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, Rama, Rabbi Moshe Yisraelish, is the Shulchan Aruch for the Ashkenazim. They live at the same time, and the Shulchan Aruch of Yosef, he is the author of the Shulchan Aruch, right? And the Rama saw it, he said, I don't have to, because he started also to write the book of Halacha. So when I saw his books, his writing, I'm perfectly fine with that. But he added notes that are more related and shaped to the European Jews. Okay? So you would read Halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, and then you say Haga. You see a comment from the Rama. And the Ashkenazi Jews are more lenient or more strict here, for example. Or we don't do 2, we do 4. Legumes are permitted on Pesach, but the custom, the minhag of Ashkenazi to be strict. For example, these kind of things, okay? So the question is, what would be considered as a Gentile cooking? From everything that he does from A to Z, or if he does from, everything, chopping, cooking, steering, putting, and I just turn the fire on, which means I have a share in that cooking. So I can't say that it's 100% a Gentile's cooking if I just turn the light on or the fire. You understand these kind of things? For Sephardi, just turning the stove on would be good enough. You got to add a little bit more, maybe spices, stir it to participate a little bit more. Sephardi a little bit more strict about it. So what's the fix? So I got the double that's what we have here. One, with the food that the Gentile prepare, right? Perhaps lighting the fire as the Rama, Rabbi Moshe Yisrael rules, is sufficient to remove the prohibition against Gentile cooking. And 2, perhaps this case is permitted as per the ruling of the Ravid, Rabbi. Okay, I don't want to go through that. Bottom line, let me finish this. The prohibition against using Gentile milk comes from the understanding that Gentiles have occasions to mix kosher milk with unkosher milk. Okay? Why they would do that? I have to finish like in 1 minute. I think we have davening.
Yeah.
Why they do that? Because kosher milk from a kosher animal tends to get spoiled very quickly. For example, if you take from a donkey, right, or from camel, and you mix it, it becomes more stronger. Especially back then that they delivered milk from place to place in the heat of the sun, and they didn't have air-conditioned trucks, so they mixed it all the time, make it unkosher. Okay. So the prohibition against using Gentile milk comes from the understanding that Gentiles have occasion to mix kosher milk with unkosher milk, while the prohibition against eating Gentile cheese comes from the fact that the cheese is usually set with unkosher agents which do not get nullified even in a proportion of 1 to 1,000. There was until recently no fear that unkosher milk might be mixed into cheese. You could not make, for example, camel cheese. There's no such. It doesn't form. Only from a kosher. But now with all the advanced chemicals, right, and science, it's a problem. So back then, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, you could buy cheese, it's for sure it comes from kosher. There was until recently no fear that unkosher milk might be mixed into cheese, since unkosher milk does not set. Modern food technology has made unkosher milk and other unkosher ingredients possible candidates for inclusion in cheese. Even though the prohibition against Gentile oil and honey were rescinded, right? Since oil often has preservatives of unknown origin, each city's Beit Din must appoint an expert to check the local factories to see which products are kosher and publish a list of those which are reliable, which we have. We have a whole list of them, and so forth and so on. Any questions? Okay. On behalf of Yisrael Foundation, I want to thank you. Next topic will be B'ezras Hashem about chalav Yisrael, what's behind it and all that. God bless you, and we should meet B'ezras Hashem only on times of joy. Shabbat Tov.
Amen.